Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life TV show. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, I'm Dr. Davia Shepherd. I host this show called Grow Your Business Smarter, Live Your Optimal Life. And just to give you a little bit of background about why we have this show and what this show is all about, basically, I'm a woman in business. About I want to say about 14 years ago, I was brand new in private practice. And if some of you remember what was happening about 14 years ago, we were in the middle of an economic downturn. So, perfect time for joining a new practice. I had to get new patients, I had to build my practice, and people weren't really that focused on their health and wellness. A lot of people that we were having as our patients, we were actually losing them as patients because they had bigger concerns, like they were losing their homes. Folks, this was a really, really rough time for people. And so I learned the beauty and the value of community out of necessity. I joined the chamber, and while the chamber wasn't the best home for me, I made some really valuable friends there. And of those friends, we got together one day, we had lunch, and it was just the very best thing. All of us were women in business, but from different walks of business, different walks of life, different types of business, different types of women. But one thing that we all had in common is that we were committed to this idea of being women in business and supporting each other. Because what we realize is that there's so many of us as women in business, and yet so few of us when it comes to those at the very top, those who are making the most money. And so when we all pool our resources, support each other, then everybody wins. And so from that humble beginning of being just six women in a Ruby Tuesday on Route 6 in Bristol, Connecticut, having lunch and sharing our resources and supporting each other and giving each other tips and tricks for growing our business and sharing our basically clients with each other. We've grown from that to being one of, I would say, one of the groups of women on social media who are really, really committed to supporting each other. We have a really, really robust following. We have a really engaged community of women. And the only thing that's missing from our community, should I say it? It's you. So if you are a woman in business, if you believe in the power of women supporting each other, then before I dive into today's show, I just want to take a moment to invite you, come join us, come be a part of what we're building here, which is women having great impact, having great income, and also supporting each other. So on with the show. Today, we're talking about something that's near and dear to my heart. For many of you who are a part of our community and who have been watching our shows all along, you know that we're really, really focused on this idea of not just growing our businesses smarter, where we're able to scale our income and our impact, but also making sure that as we're doing that, we're not leaving ourselves behind, that we are still living the very best lives that we can in our circumstances. And so I recently went on family vacation, and folks, family vacation is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you, because it's great and it's fun. But for moms everywhere, you know, when you go on family vacation, basically you're just taking your momming into a space that is less familiar. You're doing all the things for all the children, for all the family, managing all the dynamics, doing all the things that you probably would be doing at home, but now you're doing it in almost like you're doing it in a pressure cooker. So yes, it's fun, but it also can challenge our energy. And if we're talking about living our optimal lives, then of course we need to know how to manage our energy on vacation. I think we did a show about that some time ago. But also what we want to talk about today is, okay, family vacation is over and you might come back and you might be still feeling a little bit rough because family vacations tend not to be the most restful, at least on the family vacations that I go on. And so as you come back to work, especially the way our years are scheduled. So most of us, our kids go on vacation during the summer months at the end of August. Everybody's back from vacation. We've done with all the day trips and everything, and now we're in back to school mode. And we're also looking at our financial year for our businesses, and we're recognizing we have, folks, 4 months left: September, October, November, and December. We're coming from vacation. We're coming in hot. We're ready to make those last 4 months of the year count. And we're ready to ramp up our impact and our income so that we can make our goals that we may have set at the beginning of the year. And I'm here to say, Those are great goals. That's a great aspiration. And as we're doing that, as we're growing smarter, as we're scaling, as we're making sure that we are doing all the things that we need to do in our business, we need to make sure that we're coming from vacation and we're not going right back into the same sort of situations that might lead us to burnout. So on today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about mastering your energy when you're returning from vacation so that you can have that energy, you can have that reservoir of self-love and self-care built up so that you can actually shine super brightly as we go into the last 4 months of the year, that final third. That's when many of us in our businesses actually make it. So stay tuned, stick around, and let's have a little chat about that. When we talk about living our optimal lives, I have had an opportunity to poll our Ladies Power Lunch audience over the past year or so. And the feedback that we have gotten and that I keep sharing is that people believe, and we really, really espouse this idea as well, that when we are able to hit these four main points in our lives, that we are definitely, definitely a whole lot closer to this idea of living our optimal life. So we try to talk a lot on this show about life balance. And I know a lot of life balance has become one of those things where you kind of hear it bandied about so frequently that it tends to lose its meaning. But the way we use life balance, the way what we mean when we talk about life balance is we're talking about your relationship with you and you. So every single thing that has to do with that, for example, ditching the overwhelm, getting away from burnout, having more self-care, reducing stress, increasing positivity, the self-love, the self-care, all of that has to do with your life balance, but it also has to do with self-actualization. It also has to do with self-forgiveness. There's a deeper layer to balance that we like to talk a lot about on this show. So that's the life balance piece of living your optimal life. Then we like to talk about boundaries because we believe that boundaries is not just knowing when to say yes and to say no and that sort of thing. That makes sense, certainly. But boundaries have to be compassionate, and they also have a lot to do with everything to do with our relationship with ourselves and other people. So if it's any kind of collaborative relationship, whether it's relationship with your family or your spouse or your staff or whatever relationships that you are in with your customers, your clients, your patients, that's where boundaries come into place. And so we talk a lot about that. And then balance and the boundaries, we believe those are the foundation of living your optimal life. Like if you're able to get those really, really solid, firm, and strong, then you're really, really close to what optimal life looks like for you. And it's not going to be a one size fits all because what's balance and what's boundaries for you is probably going to be a little bit different for me. Once we've gotten that foundation, then my suggestion is that we can take it up a notch. We can go quantum on this by looking at our lives and how much beauty are we allowing into our lives? Are we able to stop and smell the roses? Are we able to just really, really appreciate all the beauty that is around us? Is our life feeling enjoyable? Is it fulfilled? Are we having fun? And I talked about this some time ago on a previous show where I was being interviewed by somebody and she asked me what I like to do for fun. And I had to pause because it took me a minute to kind of figure out what is it that I like to do? What's fun for me? It took me a minute, but you will understand what I'm trying to say here. We really, really need to make sure that we know what we find fun, what we find fulfilling, and then infusing more and more and more of that into our lives. And then the final piece of that live your optimal life pyramid is brilliance. How brilliant are you? How bright are you shining? Are you answering the call? Are you being the beacon? Do you feel like you are fulfilling your life's calling? Do you feel like you're reaching out to the people who are losing sleep at night because they need the work that you do? And so that's what we talk about when we talk about living our optimal lives. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way to break it down and to ensure that we're actually hitting all the points of making our lives better, having a more fulfilled, having a more fun, having a more joyful and abundant life. And so today I wanted to just dive a little bit into my reentry plan. I wanted to share that with you because, like I said, I'm just coming from vacation. I'm a little bit rough. We were on a flight last night. Like I literally just got back, got into the office, got started, and I could feel my energy waning. And I thought, what will we talk about today? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you do when you're coming back from vacation. So, for those of you who watch along on a regular basis, you know I love 5 steps to anything. 5 steps to getting my hair to curl, 5 steps to applying your makeup, whatever. If it's 5 steps, I feel like it's doable. So, my 5 steps to mastering your energy when returning to work from vacation, they're really simple. And they're not going to be groundbreaking, I don't think, but also they're going to be great because they're going to help you to prioritize what's important and leave behind what's not. So here's step one. First step, folks, it's not rocket science. Breathe. I was watching somebody, one of our family members who's also coming from vacation, because it was a big family vacation. A lot of us were getting together. And I watched that family member not breathe yesterday as we were flying back. And suddenly, all the weight of all the tasks that are waiting started to hit. And my advice to all of us, myself included, is breathe. Just take a minute, know that you are able to manage whatever you're coming back into your office to see sitting on your desk. Whatever's there, you're going to be able to take care of it. You can. So just breathe. Take a minute to breathe it in, hold a breath, and exhale. Perfect time for a moment of just inner clarity, knowing that you've got this. So breathe is my step one. Don't allow panic to set in because it can. I mean, I came back into literally a folder full of things that I need to do, things that need to happen, things that need to have my eyes on it. But the first step is gonna have to be to just take that deep breath and center yourself and know that all is well. My step two is one of the things that I talk about in my book, Grow Smarter. And it's something that I really, really recommend for just about anything that you have to do. My step two is spend some time in quiet contemplation. We call this step ask. And really, what you're doing in this step is you're going within and you're asking yourself, what do you want to achieve? If this were best case return to work scenario, what would you want that to look like? Just spend a few minutes visualizing. If you sit at a desk at your work, spend a few minutes visualizing what that beautiful, energy controlled back to work situation looks like. Just see in your mind's eye. Norman Vincent Peale says, you have to see it. You have to see it in your mind's eye first before you see it in the world around you. So take some time to just visualize, to imagine even what you want this to be as you return. And you will be surprised, maybe, because you might see a way of things going that you didn't realize that that's actually what you want. For example, I did a little visualization ahead of this morning, and I realized that one of the things that I want to have on my list of things today is I want to actually cut out a little early and go to the gym. The ideal day for me is going to look like that. And so I went into the schedule, rearranged a couple of things, and pushed it around so that I can fit that in. But if I hadn't sat down and kind of thought it through, I would probably get to the end of the day and then be thinking, oh, I wish I had scheduled it so I could leave a little bit early. But for everybody, it's going to be something different. What do you want your day to look like? And just know it might not end up going exactly as you visualize, but visualization gives you a guide for step three, which is the plan. Now, for those of you who know me well, you know planning is something that I really, really, really embrace. I have not as yet met a spreadsheet that I don't like, but feel free to send us over your spreadsheets so we can check them out and see if they're up to our snuff. Go to growsmarter.harder.com/login, become a member of our community. But I digress. You can, in this moment on reentry, use this as a time to start to set up your plan. not only for your first day back or your first week back, but also for the rest of the year. Because we have 4 months coming up, which are for many businesses, very active months. Some businesses thrive on holiday sales or driving sales or business at the end of the year. If that is you, this is an opportunity to get in and start doing some planning. And my step 4 leads right off of that. That first week that you're back, you want to look at your list and you want to use all your time management tools, every single one that you know works for you. Pull those out, dust them off, and use them on this first week back. There might have been times when you've ditched those ideas. This is not the time for that. You definitely want to pull in all your time management tools. 2 tools that I like, which I'll share here, are one, I like to do a brain dump of just all the things that are happening in my head, put them all on a piece of paper, everything that I know that I need to do. I separate them into two pieces, and get another piece of paper and put a line down the middle and separate it into 2 lists, things that are personal and things that are business related. So personal and professional. Once I've done that, then I look at the list again and I see on another piece of paper, what do I need to do for business? What do I need to delegate? And what do I need to discard or put on hold for a much later date? The things that I need to do, those are things that only I can do, things that are driving income, and also things that have a deadline attached to them. Those are the 3 things that get my attention. Things that can be done by others get put on a to-do list for other people, and things that are busy work or things that they're just not that important, things that are nice to do but not going to happen right now, they either go on in a list that I have for the days when we're light and I can pull on something else. I'll grab that list, but I put those things on that list and other things go into the circular file. And so I know what I need to do, what I need to delegate, and what I need to discard. And I spend my energy for that first week back, both personally and professionally, on the things that I need to do. And then my step 5, which is a step that, I feel like we should just all be really solidly focused here every single day, is self-care. As we're diving right back into our work life, we can be tempted to think that, oh, we just came back from vacation. We don't have to take care of our self-care as much. And I'm here to tell you that on the day that you return from vacation, that's probably the day that you need to focus on your self-care even more. And so if you're the kind of person who gets value from doing something like manicure, pedicure, massages, facial, whatever, schedule those. A few, 1, 2 of those for the week when you get back. Make sure that you're doing something for yourself, that you're having this big, beautiful list of taking care of everything in your business and your personal life, but making sure that you're taking care of yourself in that moment is also important. I would say too, sometimes we can get buried under the things to do. And so making sure you're getting enough sleep, making sure you're getting enough hydration, making sure that you are eating good, healthful things. Those would be some of my tips for self-care when you get back from vacation. And I would say too, part of self-care for me is doing a little bit of journaling, just to make sure that I'm staying on the right track. So keeping track of, because sometimes when we get busy, we don't even recognize how we're feeling. So keeping track of how we're feeling. How are you feeling? You're back from vacation. Write it down. Well, I'm feeling a little bit tired, came in late last night, unpacked all the children's stuff, got everything ready for work for today, went and did the grocery shopping, left me feeling a little bit drained. What did you do today since you've been at work? How is it feeling? How are you feeling being back at work? Do you feel energized to see the clients that you haven't seen and all the time that you've been away? Or are you feeling a bit drained? Do you want to slowly ease your way in as you get back? What is there that you can do for yourself today to make yourself feel better? Are you paying attention to your hydration? Are you paying attention to your eating? Are you doing basically getting back into your self-care routine, your balance routine? Is that happening for you? So those are my 5 tips. Get back to work, folks. But as you're doing it, take a minute to breathe and recognize all is well. Take a moment to visualize, to see what you want, not just today, your first day back or your first week back, but the next 4 months of your work life to be like. If you were in best case scenario, what would that look like? And take some time to dream that, see that, be that, feel that, and then pull out whatever tools you use for planning. For me, it's doing a brain dump and then making my personal and professional lists of do, delegate, and discard. What is it for you? How are you doing it? Go ahead, dust off all your whatever ways that you use for time management. Take those out. This is the time to use those. And then look also to your self-care. Make sure that as you're doing all these things, that you are taking care of you. They say, and I was on a plane yesterday, and they actually did say these words: before you help another passenger, be sure to put your mask on first. And so it might seem as though on our show, we're always talking about self-care. Okay, Tafia, she's talking about self-care again. But the truth is, if you aren't taking care of yourself, if you're not filling yourself up, then you're not going to be able to grow smarter. You're not going to be able to be the beacon, to answer the call, and to ignite your leadership. It's gonna be superstar difficult, folks. It's not gonna be what you hoped it would be. And so my suggestion to you is start here, start with you first, and watch to see all the other things, the income, the impact, the reach, all of that actually coming to you next. Before we go, I wanted to take a minute to share with you my experience on our last Ladies Power Lunch retreat, because we've had some of our members of Ladies Power Lunch who've actually come on the show, and they've shared with you what they thought of retreat, how much they enjoyed the celebrity reflection ship, which is what we went on for our last Ladies Power Lunch retreat, and how much benefit they got in terms of improving their life balance and their compassionate boundaries, how they were able to actually have more beauty in their lives and see more brilliance in their businesses as a result of coming with us on retreat. So we've had some of the women who've been on retreat with us actually come on the show and share their experience. But I wanted to just take a few minutes today to share my experience on retreat, and to share a little bit about what is probably available to you. So for those of you who don't know, Ladies Power Launch, which is the group that I host, and you can be a member too by going to growsmarter.com/log in, and membership is absolutely free. So you can join us and be a part of our community of amazing women who believe in women supporting women. But we have a retreat twice a year, and we invite our members to come along, and we spend some time just changing our perspective in beautiful places and hanging out with amazing people who are just like us, who are women in business who want to support each other. And we focus on improving our life balance, our boundaries, the beauty of our life, and the brilliance through some retreat programming provided by Ladies Power Lunch. So we go on cruises. And the last retreat that we went on, we went to the Bahamas. We went on Celebrity Reflection ship. And let me just say, we enjoy the experience on the cruise because it really, really does lend itself to that relaxing, really deeply restful time that we as women in business need. But it also allows for fun and joy and excitement, and whatever you could want, it's there for you on that retreat. All of that in addition to the powerful programming that we provide, all the programming that we have as part of our retreat program around the balance, the boundaries, the beauty, and the brilliance that your life can be as you strive to live your optimal life. So for me, going on one of our Ladies Power Lunch retreats, we tend to go out of Fort Lauderdale. And I absolutely enjoy going out of Fort Lauderdale because usually I try to get in a little bit early. Fort Lauderdale, that's my stomping grounds, even though I live up here in Connecticut. And so it's nice to be able to go to the Fort Lauderdale beach, take in the strip, maybe hang out on the beach there for a little bit, go over to Las Olas, have dinner, have just a beautiful, relaxing time, but also enjoyable as well. So pre-cruise, staying in Fort Lauderdale for a day or two before or after, that's always something that I find to be tons of fun and also relaxing. Embarkation for me for the last retreat that I went on, it was seamless. I've been on other cruise ships, and I have to tell you, it took I don't even think it took 5 minutes for me to get from the curb with my drop off, handing my bags to the porters, going through that first layer of security, going up the escalator. They scanned my bag, they pointed me to go around the corner, and then I was on the ship. Like, I thought I would probably have had more time. I had my book with me, ready to wait in line. They had us schedule our onboarding time ahead of probably about 45 days before our retreat. And so I arrived on time that I was scheduled as probably even a few minutes late because there was traffic coming into the port. But by the time I got on, it took me from my drop off at the curb to getting onto the boat. I don't think it took me 5 minutes. Like it really, really, it was just smooth. I had an express pass and it just waved me right through. So that was great. By the time I got on ship, my room was ready. And so I got a chance to experience my room. Now, for those of you who've never been on a cruise, some of our members are like, Dr. Davia, why do you have your retreats on a cruise? Like, why don't you just have your retreat somewhere else? And well, it's just the thing that we do. We have our retreats on cruises. We go to iconic places. We enjoy ourselves as a group together. We have some retreat programming. We enjoy different destinations. And then we come back and it's just the way that we do it. But I went, I saw my room. My room was really nice. Now I have to say rooms on a cruise are different from hotel rooms on land. The rooms are definitely smaller. What I loved about our room was we're in the aqua class. We tend to book our accommodations for a retreat in that aqua class category. And what that means is that one, we're close to the spa, two, we get to access certain spa amenities, and three, there's certain things that are available for us in our rooms and as programming and restaurants and that sort of thing that are focused more on being healthy and having that retreat experience. And so I got to my room, I met my room steward right away, and he gave me my acupressure mat. I was so excited because I love things like that. And my room was beautiful. I checked out the shower, which is the shower with all the different jets coming from all the angles and the rain shower head. And the bathrooms on a cruise are pretty tiny, but the ones in the aqua class seem to be a little bit bigger. So there's a little bit more room to maneuver. I checked out my balcony. The balcony was great, two chairs and a little table to hang out there. And it was really, really nice. And then I went over to the spa to check things out there. And that was a revelation because when I walked into the spa, the first person I met was somebody that I actually knew from a previous retreat. So that was great. The spa manager is somebody that I have become familiar with, and she knows me and she knows that we bring our retreat folks onto retreat. So she was excited to see me. She gave us a little tour of the spa, the cold room, the infrared sauna, the loungers that are heated. Oh, such a great place. I mean, I don't want to give away our secret, but for our sail away, a lot of people like to go up on top for the sail away party, which is fine. You can do that if you want. But for me, when I go on retreat, relaxation is my game. And so I just enjoy lying on those loungers, those heated loungers during sail away and just watching us sail away into the beautiful Caribbean. There's also a lovely deck on the front of the spa where you can also enjoy sail away. So that was great. We left the spa and we went on up to a down to specialty dining restaurant Blue, which is only for people who are staying in that aqua class. And let me tell you, the restaurant, the entire environment of the restaurant, so beautiful, just really, really beautiful decor. And also the food, healthy, but not at all skimping in flavor. So that was great. During our retreat, I did try out other restaurants. The Ocean View Cafe, really great for breakfast, lots of different options. I am gluten-free, and so one of the things that I love is that all you have to, and I also have a shellfish allergy, so all you have to do is just tell them what's going on with you, and they'll make sure that your needs are taken care of. So while everybody else was having their nice hot buttered rolls, I got my gluten-free rolls. At breakfast, while everybody was having their breakfast pastries, I got a little gluten-free Danish, and I thought that was really, really nice that they thought ahead of that and they did take good care of me with that as well. Entertainment. So when I go on retreat, we do have our own programming that is scheduled. And so there's time that's allotted for that. But there's a lot of time for folks to do their own thing as well. And so there's a lot of entertainment going on the ship that people can choose to be a part of or not. For me, I like to spend most of my free time in the spa, but for others, they might choose something else. I did. I went to see, I think it was a magic show, and it was fine. It was good. I also, on this last retreat, I think I went to a comedy show and that was hilarious. So I would say for those of our Ladies Power Lunch members who might be thinking that you might be bored on retreat, trust me, it's not likely that you would be at all. There's live music. I think the last night, if I remember correctly, there was a Latin party on the main floor down where they have the silent disco and all of that other stuff. I may have walked through it at some point coming from dinner and going to shopping because shopping. So there is that. Sea days. On our sea days, we tend to spend a lot of time in the spa, spend a lot of time in the gym, spend a lot of time in doing like the yoga and other things that are available for us. But also, that is the time that we generally include a lot of the Live Your Optimal Life retreat programming. And so the workshops that we do with the boundaries and the balance and the beauty and the brilliance to accelerate our lives, a lot of that tends to happen during our sea days. Our port days, we went to Key West and we also went to Coco Key. Coco Key was my favorite. Key West was nice. It was nice to hang out there. Some people went on a dolphin excursion. Some people did other excursions. I personally can always be found in the spa. I tell people, listen, if you can't find me, if you don't know, you go to my room, you don't see me. If you text me, I'm not responding, just check the spa. That's likely where I am. And so people were able to find me there. We enjoyed Coco Key immensely. And when I landed on Coco Key, it was kind of a little drizzle. So it seemed like people didn't jump off the ship right away, but I didn't care about the rain because I was thinking to myself, I'm about to get into the ocean. And so a little bit of rain is not going to melt me. And so I headed off to the beach. Love the cabanas. The cabanas are great. I recommend them. And I always try to get a cabana, at least one or two, depending on how many of us are going on retreat for our group, so that we can have our own space, we can have our own concierge to take care of us, to bring us food, to bring us drink, to give us a little bit of pampering. Because for most of the women who come on retreat with us, this is their downtime, and they spend so much of their lives taking care of everybody else. Having somebody take care of them, I feel, is just the very least that we can do. So we enjoy that. And then back on the ship and heading back to the US, and disembarkation was amazing. It was also very easy. It was so fast. I think we may have been some of the last people to get off the boat because I was a little bit late getting up to breakfast, but it was fine because it was easy to get an elevator down. Once we got down to the fifth floor for disembarkation, we just walked right off. They waved to us goodbye, and when we got down, our luggage was there. We grabbed our luggage, facial recognition to re-enter the country, and off we go back to meet our driver who picked us up in no time, and we were headed back to the airport. So that was my experience on our last Ladies Power Lunch retreat. And I hope that you will consider coming on retreat with us, being a part of this amazing group of women who are committed to growing their business, serving their folks, and supporting other women so they can do exactly the same. And we can all grow our reach, grow our impact, grow our income, and be the bright shining light that we are intended to be. So if you want more information, certainly about that, I invite you to go to growsmarter.harder.com/retreat, and you can get information about how to be on our next retreat. We like to keep these evergreens, and we always have a retreat coming up because there are 2 retreats a year. Our next retreat, we're going to the Bahamas, and then our spring retreat for 2025, we're going to Alaska. So there are many, many options for you to choose from. I say, don't wait. You can come to both. You can come to all of them. Many of the people who come on retreat with us are the people who've been on retreat with us before, and they just keep coming back because one, it's tons of fun, but two, every time they come on retreat, they move that needle in their businesses and they change their lives so dramatically that it just makes sense for them to keep coming. So I invite you, come join us, growsmarter.notharder.com/retreat. All right. Oh, look at the time, folks. At the end of every show, I pull a card, and it's always interesting to me to see if the card that I pull has any bearing whatsoever on the conversation that we've had on the show. Usually on the show, we have a guest. Sometimes it's just me talking at you about the things that are showing up in our business, in our group, in my life, things that I think you might benefit from my bad experiences. I don't know. But also, we bring on women in business who have something to share that can help you move your business forward. And so I hope you'll join us next week when we have another guest joining us who will be talking to us about something that will be of great benefit and importance to you. So let's see. I'm going to pull a card here and see what we need to learn today. I keep pulling this card, folks. I've pulled this card so many times, and this one is Beautiful Bandit. It's a spiritual gangster, and she is at number 29 in the Love Your Inner Goddess by Lana Fairchild. So for those of you who have this particular guidebook, you can read along. I'm going to post the card in the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. So if you want to come in and see what other people are commenting and maybe leave your own comments about this card, go ahead and do that at growsmarter.notharder.com/login. And when you go there, you'll be able to do a number of things. You'll be able to join our Facebook group. You'll be able to join us for a monthly networking meeting. And there are lots of other free resources that are there for you. And it'll also even point you in the direction of how you can get more information about our upcoming retreats. So go to growsmarter.notharder.com/login and get more information there. Okay. The Beautiful Bandit says, you can choose right now to feel good about yourself. If you've been beating yourself up, stop it now. Don't let anyone else decide how you should feel about yourself. Taking responsibility for your actions means that when you have done something that you feel is out of integrity, you do something about it that is constructive and useful. Damning yourself with judgment or allowing another to steal your self-esteem is neither of those things. The Divine Mother is telling you to forgive yourself and use your energy now to live the best life that you can. It's time to take your life back. Every time I read this card, and I keep pulling this card, no joke, like I just pull a card to see what card I pull, and that's the card that shows up. Every time I read this, it says, use your energy now to live the best life you can. And it just draws me right back to this idea that we really need to get out of that survival mode and focus on living our best life, living our optimal life. There is value, in my opinion, in that. I'll post the card, folks, and I look forward to hearing what your thoughts are about that card. So one more time, I just want to invite you, come join us for our next retreat. You can get more information about that at growsmarter.notharder.com/retreat. And of course, for 100% free, come join our Ladies Power Lunch community at growsmarter.notharder.com/login. There you'll get a lot of resources from a lot of women who have done an amazing job of sharing their gifts and talents for how to grow and scale our businesses. You will get access to our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group where you can connect with said ladies. And of course, you'll be able to join us monthly for free monthly networking. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Enjoy every minute of it. And of course, I will see you on the next show. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.